Hello and welcome back. Today we dive into the world of homemade bone broth. If you want to boost your immune system, support your gut health, and get a good night's sleep, you're in the right place. Here are my 7 simple steps for making life-changing bone broth while you sleep. In fact, I call it my no fuss while you sleep bone broth recipe. Now, before we get started, know that I trade delicious tasting bone broth for easy making bone broth. You can roast the bones ahead of time, even throw in aromatics like onions, celery, even garlic and seasonings. And if delicious is your goal, there are many recipes on the internet to try. My goal, honestly, is easy while I sleep nutrients that I can easily heat just before serving and slurp quickly through a straw. Okay, let's get started. The number 1 secret to making fantastic bone broth is using bones from responsibly raised livestock. Look for 100% grass-fed and grass-finished cattle bones. Free from feedlot ingredients that cause havoc to our bodies and usually have the animals living in warehouses or concrete floors. This also helps minimize hormones or GMOs used. Straight from the freezer, my go-to bones are usually beef oxtail. Although I only had 1 pound today, I highly recommend 2 pounds, ideal for more gelatin. This strong muscle is full of nutrient-rich, supportive tissue. Marrow bones, I usually throw in 2 long and 2 medium. They're rich in vitamin A, K2, and minerals like zinc, iron, and manganese. And the well-kept secret, knuckle bones. They're perfect for thickening broth, and the cartilage are a nutrient powerhouse. I try to use 2 per recipe, but I only had 1 on this day. The number 2 secret? Gather your pantry staples. It's so simple. All you need is a little apple cider vinegar. This little secret ingredient adds richness and helps break down the collagen, making your broth even better for you. Easy, right? The number 3 secret? An Instant Pot. This is the real lifesaver. One of the best investments I've ever made, as it allows me to make this nutrient-rich bone broth while I sleep. Slip the inner pot in the unit. Make sure the sealing ring is in place on the lid and secure. This is important, or you'll lose your juice, literally. Snap the anti-block shield into the underside of the lid. And then, on the top of the lid, look for the designations between sealing and venting. Snap the steam release valve into place, making sure it's pointed to sealing, or your brew will vent all through your house and your pot will be empty when you wake up in the morning. Snap the condensation collector into the outside of the pot, and in go your bones. Simply put them in frozen to keep it simple. I used to roast my bones in the oven first for added flavor, but now I just throw them in and make life easier. Next, you'll want to fill your pot with water, ideally filtered water. Fill to the max line on the inside of the pot, about 10 cups. Homemade bone broth, one of the best kept secrets in health and wellness. It's an affordable, easy way to support your immune system and connective tissue. Next, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Rumor has it it's the acidity that breaks down the collagen and makes it more plentiful in the broth. Honestly, I don't know if this is true, and I've made it both ways, but I use it just in case. No harm, right? The number 4 secret? Simmer while you sleep. As the Instant Pot does its magic, your bone broth will be simmering low and slow, releasing all those fantastic nutrients into the water. Place the lid on top of your pot and turn into place. You'll know it's secure when you hear the ring of the bell. Double check one last time to make sure your steam release valve is in the seal position. For heat, simply plug your pot in and select manual. Press the minus or plus button minus is faster, until you reach the maximum time allowed, 120 minutes. After a few seconds, you'll hear the beep of the Instant Pot, telling you it's on. That's it, really, that simple. While you sleep, the timer will run down from 120 minutes to 0 and beep. And then it goes into what's called L mode, which is to say low, decompressing the steam. This keeps your bone broth warm while you sleep and allows more nutrients to release into the broth. In the morning, twist the lid off and voila, a cauldron of goodness. When the bones simmer, their nutrients are released into the water in a form your body can easily absorb. Many people don't get enough of these nutrients in their diet, so drinking bone broth can make a world of difference in your health. I use these trusted tongs to gently pull the bones from the broth. You can let the bones cool and even give them to your furry friends as an amazing treat. Bone broth is made by simmering the bones and connective tissue of animals in a large pot of water with a touch of vinegar. This highly nutritious stock is commonly used in soups, sauces, and gravies. It's also been shown to help fight leaky gut, which is to say, help prevent disease in the body. The number 5 secret to making life-changing bone broth? Strain and store. Once your bone broth is done simmering, it's time to strain out all the amazing nutrients to get a smooth, gelatin-like texture, and store it as liquid gold for later drinking. To strain the broth, I start with a large container. I just happen to have a second Instant Pot liner. I place my large fine mesh strainer in the second pot and empty the first pot with the warm bone broth through the strainer. Bone broth has been used for centuries, dating back to prehistoric times when our ancestors turned inedible animal parts into a broth they could drink. Today, we know that bone broth is rich in vitamins, minerals, and collagen, which support our immune system and our muscle and connective tissues. Here, we portion the broth into freezer-friendly glass containers. Trust me when I say canning jars don't work. I've had them crack more times than I can count. So invest in freezer jars that are heavy duty, and they will treat you well. Simply scoop or pour broth into each jar. Bone broth gives your gut what it needs to fight leaky gut, to fight food allergies, inflammation, and digestive issues. Collagen and gelatin have also been found to improve joint health and a better night's sleep. With lids on, I place them all in the freezer, well, except one in the refrigerator, so I can warm it up and drink it for the next 2 to 3 days. The number 6 secret to making life-changing bone broth? Save the fat for sauté. Now, here comes the bonus secret. Don't waste that healthy fat from the bones. It's perfect for sautéing your favorite veggies and proteins. Here we are the next day after the bone broth has been in the refrigerator. You can see the healthy fat from the bones has hardened on top. I cut it in half and leave some to drink and put the rest aside to use for sautéing plants and proteins later. In our course, we talk about how vital healthy fat is to our diet and is in fact one of the 6 essential nutrients our bodies and brains need to survive and thrive. Bone broth fat also holds up perfectly under high heat sautéing. You can see here how the broth is gelatin-like, full of collagen and nutrients. Bone broth is one of the best all-natural immune support foods available, packed with nutrient-dense marrow, collagen, and vital minerals. As the ingredients simmer, their nutrients are released into the water in a form your body can easily absorb. Again, many people don't get enough of these nutrients in their diet, so drinking bone broth is a really good way to get more. Last but not least, the ultimate way to enjoy your bone broth. I recommend sipping it about an hour before bedtime to aid in sleep, or it could be part of your first meal as you break your fast to help activate muscle synthesis. One study found that glycine, found in bone broth, before bed significantly improves the quality of sleep. It can help us fall asleep faster. It helps maintain a deeper sleep and wake fewer times during the night. But regardless when you drink it, whether it's in the morning, which I do most of the time now, or even at night, make sure your bone broth comes to a simmer to kill any unwanted bacteria that may have accumulated during refrigeration. Feel free to add a pinch of salt for flavor. Pour into your favorite glass with gratitude, and I use a glass straw to keep the bone broth from staining my teeth. And it's an easy wash with no waste. And it makes me feel like a little kid, because, smiling is always a good idea. And there you have it. You've mastered the art of making homemade bone broth, a true powerhouse of health. It's a game changer for your immune system, gut health, muscle, tissue, and overall well-being. Here is to our well-being. Enjoy.